GOGI, learn GOGI tools, real lessons to live by.
I'm grateful that you're here because we want to create a little short video, 29, 30 minutes video about being a Gogi couple. Now, I know you have a lot of things going on in your life that work well together. You have your spirituality, you actually have your employment that's consistent with each other. But another thing that you have is that you both appreciate, use, and teach the GOGI Life Tools. My question is, there are many of our students that say, how do I get my wife or my husband involved? How do I get my partner involved? How do I get my child involved? And when this happens, there's magic in the relationship. An added element of wonder and purpose and meaning gets added to that equation. So I wanted to create a video to inspire people to actually entertain becoming a Gogi couple. You guys are very much a very Gogi couple. Can we talk for a moment about exactly how did that happen? That Gogi kind of got integrated into the very core of your daily life.
So you know what, when me and Jessica met, we met at Homeboy Industries, and one of the first things that I brought up to her was how, you know, co-facilitating, helping me get Gogi there at Homeboy Industries. So Jessica like knew about Gogi, she read it, but she didn't have like, she wasn't really involved with Gogi at CCWF. But what ended up happening is we ended up starting it there at Homeboy Industries. But at that time, I think you left already. You already, yeah, starting to work for ARC. And but what I did is I manipulated my wife. I really did. I
In the best of all ways.
Yeah, but in a good way. So we had an opportunity to start Gogi at the women's prison, and I could have focused more on the men's prison, but if the men's prison in Chino, where I work, Jessica works at CIW, and we both work for ARC, the Hope and Redemption team. So I thought about it. I said, how you know, a good way to get her involved is getting it going at the women's prison, because she would have to be part of it. She actually would have to be the one to escort me in, and there was a high demand there at CIW. So she has to be part of Gogi and learn it. So that's how it's part of our life.
Al, I think that is the best outcome of criminal thinking, is when you can take the skill of criminal thinking and then actually use it for good, for the win-win. That's why people get it all mixed up. Sometimes criminal thinking, when you get it on the good track, it's wonderful because it allows so many different opportunities. For example, had you not had that ability to think outside the box, one, Jessica would never be here and we wouldn't have a program at the women's prison. So Jessica, did you know that he was trying to manipulate you? What were your thoughts when this guy says, come start Gogi at Homeboy with me? And, oh, okay, you got a job. Okay, start Gogi with the women's prison. What were you thinking when he was bringing this up? Did you just think this guy is crazy, or what were your thoughts?
No, I didn't think he was crazy at all. Actually, because of that, I knew he was one of the more normal people there.
Really?
Really? Yeah. So, you know, one of the things I always tell my participants, my students, the women that I coach, is that you're you from the day you were born. You know, the trauma that you went through caused you to develop some character defects, which allows us to lean on our addictions, and criminal thinking is one of those addictions. You know, he's always been this true manipulator. You know, but you know, one of the things that I admire a lot about him is that he likes to set goals, and he's determined. and that's what it is. And he'll find ways to get it done. He knows how to think critically and get things done. And so, you know, people may say that's manipulating, but in all honesty, no, he's been a go-getter since he was a young kid. You know, unfortunately, we went through some traumas in life, which we had to develop negative coping skills. And Gogi has been a big part of his life, and, you know, has helped him become the person that he is today, which I'm very grateful for.
And what does that mean to you to know that, you know, these Gogi Life Tools have been a big part of him kind of shedding the trauma, shedding the criminal thinking, and allowing it to be goal setting and inclusivity and helping everybody? This is the little feral cat.
He's so fat.
Yes, she likes to eat. I
Can't
think
say that word. Just
Yeah.
say healthy.
Yes.
So
It might offend her. She, I think, living on the streets, she developed an eating disorder. Now she can't get enough of it. So,
Oh, I wonder if that's what my cat
Our
has.
cat is the same.
He's gaining a lot of weight.
yeah, I'm telling you, if they're on the streets, they panic. They don't know, you know, they're not dissimilar to humans. When we are living on the streets, or when we are in a traumatic environment, we develop a coping skill, and that gets wired in our brain. And then we play that pattern out. No matter how many times I feed her, she still looks at me and like she's pretending she's starving. So I have to go feed her a little bit more. Hopefully at some point, that little kitty, she's trusting now, but that's so sweet. But yes, she's a little feral cat that just walked out from underneath a tree and claimed me, and now she's my boss. So it's not dissimilar to humans in that, like you said, Jessica, we are all born these perfect beings, and through no fault of our own, we have to develop these coping tools just to survive. But once we get to a point where we can start shedding those coping tools, that beautiful part of us emerges. What I like about you two, and I've just admired for so long, is that you are consistently driven by a mission and a vision for your lives. Your lives, being a couple is not easy. It's not easy in today's society to remain solid. But because you have a shared mission and a shared vision and shared approaches, your relationship is strong. Can you talk to me a little bit about that shared mission and vision and sharing the Gogi Life Tools? How does that help you over those inevitable rough patches that every relationship runs into?
You want to go?
Sure. I'll touch a little bit on that. So, first of all, the first thing that we have in common is that we both love the Lord, and we put him first in our life. And when times get hard, we know that we can't do it on our own. We know that we have to rely on him and just bring everything to him. However, he has, blessed us with these curriculums that have allowed us to go through the process of healing. And we both pretty much have a lot of that stuff in common, to where, we had similar traumas, we healed from them. And the vision that we have today in our lives is not to go backwards, but to continue to share our story to help other people get to where we're at. And one of those examples is having a healthy relationship with communicating, and also being flexible. But first of all, we knew that we had to be committed to one another. And that was both something that we both took seriously. And I know that, a lot of it has to do with the Gogi tools that he uses to help him stay on track.
Would you say that's true, Coach Al? Is that
Yes.
these tools help you remain?
Oh yeah, big time. Just in life in general, and all the decisions that I make, I do use the boss of my brain. I always do that. I always try to stay in the smart part of my brain, unless, you know, there's good emotions that will, you know, motivate me from doing good things to doing good things, you know? So yeah, it does. The other thing that, you know, we have in common, I was just telling somebody last night, like we don't argue, we don't get into fights. You know, our relationship is not, we're not like, it's a very, very, very good one, because we do have the same goals. You know, we lead a ministry, we work together, we both go in prison and facilitate for the Hope and Redemption team, for ARC. But the main thing is, our what we do is we live the ultimate freedom tool. You know, we
Yes.
totally live that like it's you know, and it's living a life of service. It gives us ultimate freedom. We're constantly driven and just is giving back, you know.
You know, a lot of people can look at your life and say, yeah, this doesn't apply to me. I don't have this kind of girl. I don't have this kind of guy. I don't have that kind of this. I don't have. Coach Al, I remember when you first got out, and I remember it was not easy.
Yeah.
And I remember some of the struggles, some of the family struggles, some of the housing struggles. I remember struggle upon struggle before you even had a ministry, before you even had a job. I remember your mountain was Mount Everest, and you were clawing your way up to the top. So anybody that says, well, that doesn't apply to me, that they aren't like me, they can't relate to me, all I got to say is you have no idea. You have no idea. Of course, I met Yessica long after she had landed and gotten her roots. But when you just landed here in this foreign country called outside of prison, it was not an easy road for you. Can you speak for a moment about the challenges you faced and how you held on to those tools and you built the infrastructure utilizing those tools? Can you speak just for a moment how this is not picture perfect? This has not always been this way for you guys worked hard to get to this place where you now enjoy a life of ultimate freedom.
Yeah. You know, after serving 20 years in prison, coming out during COVID, that was challenging in itself. And then most of my time that I did in prison was either in the SHU or level 4. So I was in cell the whole time, you know, so I can't come out, and it was, life out here was totally different from when I went in. And there was a whole lot of challenges and things that I was going through. Like, man, I mean, so many family struggles, like job stuff, things like that. But and in the beginning, but I continued, you know, for one, I stayed focused on God. Number two is I stood the boss of my brain. I mean, I use that always, constantly.
That was your go-to tool.
That's my go-to. Do not make decisions based on my emotions, because my emotions were all over the place. You know, like, man, I was going through, like I said, a whole lot of family struggles. There was hurts. There was new traumas being made. So do not react in your emotions. Stay in the smart part of your brain and make the correct decisions. When it had to do with you know, what job I was going to take, where was I going to go to Homeboy Industries, I just used the smart where I was going to live. You know, I stayed in the smart part of my brain the whole time. And you know, I don't want to say, oh, everything was perfect. Every decision that I made, you know, was perfect. You know, I made mistakes. I had to take a couple of steps back, but I was still 8 steps ahead, you know? So, because I was out of prison and I was getting my life, you know, together and moving forward. And that mountain, you know, what it was Mount Everest. It was Mount Everest. But like Yessica says, I have a goal, and I'm still climbing that mountain to reach that goal.
Yessica, how did it make you feel to know that you were falling in love with this man slowly but surely? Yeah, she was watching you. It wasn't like she just jumped in and said, let's go for it. You know, I know her well enough to know that she just kept There was one foot by the door just in case until it wasn't. What was that point, Jessica, when you said, okay, I'm all in? What was it that let you know I am safe with this man? My heart is safe with this man. My man and I are aligned with the same goal. How did you get to that point?
You know what? It was the moment that I heard his testimony, his whole story. You know, for me, because we related so much. So, you know, like he talked about coming home after serving all that time, coming home after, you know, serving 17 years in prison. I couldn't relate to anybody out here.
Right.
Or on a whole nother level
Yes.
that I didn't understand. And nor did they understand me. That was what was important for me, is that if they don't understand what I'm going through and how the process of adjusting to the world out here is, then honestly, we have nothing to talk about.
Right.
And with him, it was different. You know, from the first day that we talked, everything was about, you know, our future goals, what, you know, where we came from. And but it like those conversations were short, you know, and really surface. However, I knew they were deeper than any other conversations I've had with anyone else that had been out here. And so then I got to hear his testimony. He did a podcast with one of the brothers, and I heard his testimony, and I was like, man, like we have more in common than I thought.
This is my guy.
Yeah. So, you know, one of the things that we gain while we go through the healing process is integrity. And not a lot of people see integrity as something that a value that they should live by. And it's very difficult to find people that even know what integrity is. However, when I met him, I know that he knew what integrity was. And for me, that was, you know, that was pretty much the green light.
Coach Al, how do the GOGI Life Tools help you explore integrity, actually know? And you're right, Jessica, so many people don't even know what integrity is. But going through the process of learning the GOGI Life Tools, it almost becomes part of who you are. Coach Al, how did the GOGI Life Tools help you become more of a man of integrity?
I think, you know, there's 12 tools, just applying at each and every one really to my life and my decision making, you know. And just, you know, we're talking before this about, you know, positive thoughts, positive words, and positive actions. You know, if we could just stay if we can continuously, you know, having positive thoughts, try to stay, you know, positive, look at things in a positive light, you know, our words follow and our actions follows, and that's integrity in it right there. And it just really becomes
Way of life.
yeah, it becomes a way of life. It becomes part of you. You know, I mean, if you're having negative thoughts, negative words, negative actions, that's not integrity. That's not anything good, you know. So those tools are really what helped me. The other thing too, if we look at the tool, what if, you know, that's, for me, I use that tool all the time as, man, what if I make this decision? What if I do this? What if I do this action? What's going to happen? I try to look at the outcome before making that decision or that step or that action, you know, because I want to stay doing what's right, you know, in all areas of my life.
Yeah, wonderful. You know, I think it's about a month from now, you two have invited me to come to the women's prison to see how we're doing over there with the women in GOGI. I almost think, Coach Al, that maybe you manipulated me.
They're in a good way, maybe.
In a good way, I do believe. I think both Jessica and I and all the women that get to now study the GOGI Life Tools have been a benefit of you being a man of integrity and you living a life of service and you seeing an opportunity to be of service and stopping at nothing to make that happen, which I think is great. And Jessica, to hear his testimony, hear his life, and know it aligns with yours, and then for you two to fuse together with one mission and one vision is actually a testament to the power when two people decide they want to be together, and they are better together than they are apart, and they can be of service together. So I really got to commend you, not only for your own personal lives, but for the example that you set as to what a couple can accomplish. And like you said, your life is peaceful now. You don't go around fighting or blaming the other person because you're on point with your mission and vision, which is great. We're going to close up pretty soon, but I want to hear some encouraging words for couples, because being a couple in today's times when it's so easy to not be devoted or not being committed, I'm certain there are a lot of people that want to hear some encouraging words about the benefits of being a couple. Can you guys just kind of give some encouraging words to our viewers?
Yeah, I can start. So, just like you said, that we're better together. That right there is, is key to everything. Where I lack, he shows up. Where he lacks, I show up. And we're constantly, it's not about, looking out for self, looking out for one another, but it's about looking out for each other to reach our goal, right? And to get to bring our vision to fruition. I do want to encourage other couples to communicate and also be willing to be flexible with one another.
Mm-hmm.
Get to learn each other's love language and continue to be positive. If I wake up in a bad mood, because I wake up in a bad mood, I have to quickly ask myself, like, what am I in a bad mood about? And really, there's nothing. It's just I'm sleepy, and so I have to start doing like positive self-talk to myself, like it's gonna be a beautiful day. Then I see my husband, he makes me smile. I look for the good things in him to help me stay positive. And if he wasn't here every morning, I wouldn't get to experience that. So, just always being there for each other and reminding yourself that a relationship is not about meeting your needs, but meeting each other's needs.
Beautiful. What advice would you like to share, Kotal?
I think she just said it all. I mean, that was like really, really, really good. With us, our relationship, it did start off. She said the conversations that we had were just like vague in a way on the surface, but really we prayed together the first time we had a conversation, and since then our relationship has always been based on God, and that's our main goal. And that's like what we focus on. Both of us, we just came out of our own ministries worship service. That right there is what keeps us really, really, really close. And like she also said, is praying together. She said communication. Praying together is one thing, but communicate. We communicate with each other. When we talk to each other, we talk to each other correctly.
So you're not talking at the other person.
We talk. Yeah, we communicate. Like, I don't know. We never argue or anything. We talk.
Mm-hmm.
In a mature way of communicating, and also in that we're caring about each other's feelings. I'm not gonna say things in a way, in any type of way, to hurt her feelings, because I love her, I care, you know,
Right.
and her in the same is the same way towards me. So, you know, communication really is key to.
You know,
Well,
one of the things I do want to share that he asked me about is, you know, when I'm sharing struggles or challenges with him that I may be going through, whether it's with family or our job, or just, you know, anything that I'm venting to him about, he asks me like, well, like, where is this coming from? You know, what part of your brain are you speaking from? Is it
uh,
your emotions? You know,
uh-huh, uh-huh.
because the decision that you make is the outcome from the decision you make is going to be based on the consequence from the part of your brain that you're choosing.
Well, but that goes to how he is communicating with you. Instead of him saying, just use your smart part, you know, instead of kind of talking at you, he's literally asking you what
Mhm.
part of your brain is engaged. And I think when people hear, oh, well, just communicate, a lot of people don't know how to communicate. And it really is asking the question. It is really listening to the answer. And I've got to say that you two are just so impressive in your ability to do that, and to keep your goals and your mission and your vision and your purpose intact. I just have to commend you. I'm so proud of both of you. And I'm so happy you manipulated me to drive many, many hours to go to go talk to our women. I think it's the best form of convincing people of how they can improve their lives. I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you.
And we're also really grateful for your support in allowing us to take Gogi into the women's prison. I know it's been a long time coming. It's been a need in there for very long, and who knew I'd marry the man that takes Gogi in there, huh?
I know. Isn't that great? Well, I'm so proud of you, and any way I can support your efforts, you know, I've got your back on that one.
Thank you,
I
Coach.
hope you have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. I know that the viewers will feel inspired, they'll feel hopeful, and that's exactly what I wanted to share. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye.
G-O-G-I, G-O-G-I. Gogi told me this, I got to do it. G-O-G-I, G-O-G-I.